Hey, it's Todd Welsh with Community Leader Podcast here, and we are back in the studio with episode 20, and my guest today is the one and only Anni Grevas. Anni, welcome.
Thank you, Todd, and thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah.
I see all your beautiful podcasts and wonder why I'm number 20.
By your number 20, I don't know. You know, you were high on the list, but you were tough to get into. Like my people called your people, and it was tough. And so finally we got you in the studio, and here you are.
Yeah, it took you coming to the gym and talking to me, which you're doing frequently. I know
Yes.
you're there.
Yep.
And so I'm glad that our people were away from us and we actually got to talk about how to get
I
this
think
done.
this is my idea even. I
It
said,
was.
hey, do you want to come on the podcast and let's
Yes.
talk about what's new in your life?
Yes.
Because you're running for
County Commission, Saline County Commission, District 2.
Saline County Commission District 2. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But first of all, I want to know a short snippet so the people watching is in 30 seconds, 45 seconds, tell me who you are, your family, where you came from, and how long you've been in Salina.
Okay. Well, I moved here in 87, so 37 years I've lived here. 35 of those years I worked at Community Corrections, 29 as the director. I have two beautiful human boys. Notice I say human because
Yes.
they are. And I had a beautiful husband who everybody would know, Bill Grevas.
Yes.
Funny, clever, handsome as hell. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2017. But we keep plugging along, and I'm very grateful for Bill. I tell everybody that Grevas is bigger on my signs for a reason, because I'm riding the coattails of Bill.
Yeah.
So
Bill would have definitely been a community leader on this podcast. Everything that he did for this community was amazing.
And I'm going to say thank you, but also, why not Annie?
Well,
but
no,
Bill
but
would
you're-
have been.
I'm
I know
saying
he
Bill
would have.
would have
Bill
been
would have been.
Bill would have been a
Everything he
perfect person for
worked,
this.
yeah, he would have been. And he would have loved it. You know, he would have laughed and been appreciative of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's think about, like, I was intrigued when I heard that you were going to run for a county commission. It really took me off guard because I was like going, well, that's interesting. I didn't know if you were still, so you're not at the county anymore?
No, I
Okay.
did that for 35 years. Like I said, I was director of 29.
And when did you retire from
I
there?
retired 2 years ago.
Okay.
And kind of mulled around for about 2 months. I already had something set up. I'm currently the assistant director of grants at Kansas Wesleyan.
Okay.
So I took all my experiences at Community Correction writing grants, and now I'm carrying them into it's a nonprofit agency. So it's something I was really interested in, and I was very blessed to get that.
Yeah.
So I'm writing grants for Wesleyan. I'm also staying very active in the committee or in the community. I'm doing lots of community volunteer kind of things. And now ready to give back to the community again on the government side by running for county commission.
Yeah. So let's think about this. For the people who are watching, we have the county commissioners, and we have city commissioners.
Right.
Why county commission over city commission?
Well, because county's what I really, really understand well. And I, at Community Corrections as a director, I balanced budgets, wrote budgets, understood that funding does not always meet the needs, and had to supplement with non-taxpayer dollars. And so my real passion is giving back to the community and using my strong experiences with budget, grant writing, non-taxpayer dollars, and looking for that. The county has some really great departments, all of them, and several of them do grants, but I think we could expand that. And so I just felt like I wanted to give back to a community that has been so gracious to myself, Bill, the kids, and I'm excited to do it. I'm very excited.
I can feel it.
I know.
I really can.
I know.
I can feel what that this means a lot to you, what
Yeah.
you're doing. And when I first heard about it, I was like going, okay, why? That seems like that could take up a lot of time. And then I went, God, you'd be perfect because you grew up in that environment of the county for 30 years.
35 years.
35 years. And so I can't think of anybody who would be better qualified who would say, hey, as I went through that process, I saw some of the needs. I saw some of the wants. I saw how the county could get better. I saw what the county did well. And so I think you're going to be a natural fit.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for going into it.
I appreciate that. I feel the same way. I feel like I don't even know how many county commissioners I went through in that 35 years, but a lot, and a lot of county administrators. And so I got to see the good and the bad and the indifferent, maybe,
And
I would
ugly.
say. I'm not going to say ugly, but I would say I've seen it all. And I've also have a really good working knowledge of how the commission works and how they do study sessions or whatever. I went to more county commission meetings than I probably went to my own house at times. You know, I was just always there. So I do bring a lot of experience, and kind of my tagline is experience makes a difference. And so I think that I bring a lot of that ability there too. And I understand all the department, you know, what they do and how they do it. I'm not saying I couldn't learn more, but I understand that. I know all the department heads, and I know where they've always had issues and need to continue to grow. And I think the economy can continue to grow and do an economic boost. And I want to work at that policy level to help with that also.
Yeah. I'm more involved with the city commission, and I watch things that go on day to day. So I'm not really familiar. Is there a big topic right now in the county that's a big either concern that people know about, or that you would say, hey, when I get in there, they did this, or we need to do this? Is there anything what's in the forefront of the county over the next couple of years that you see would need to happen?
Well, I think that the citizens voted to approve the jail, and that was their biggest capital project infrastructure ever, I believe. And it was almost 90 million. I saw a number, and it was just under 90. And that's a lot. And citizens approved that. So I don't see any infrastructure or capital projects coming on the horizon. I think it's funding's always going to be an issue. Budget's always going to be an issue. County doesn't get the dollars like the city does. It's just not the same way. And some of the county rules and the way some of the things go are written back in 1858.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. That was a little product placement, wasn't it? Beautiful.
And they're archaic. Something like, I'm going to tell you, I believe the only woman commissioner I had while I was working at Community Corrections, 35 years, was Lucy Larson, one. And she came on when the commission went from 3 to 5. Do you see how I pivoted into making this about women?
Exactly.
So one of the things I also feel passionate about is bringing women to public government positions. And I think it was time to do it. And my opponent is a woman. So either way, we're going to win that way. But I think it's important that that's up there, and it's not just, take this out if you need to, white older men that are retired, or I just think it's time. So that was another real reason I did this.
Yeah. What do you think about what's happened with I call it the arena, but where they were going to build a new fairgrounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new fairgrounds. Are you up to date on that a little bit?
I'm
to know
not
anything?
They talked about it a lot when I was there. I've left. I know that there is still some projects to be done there. I know they've refreshed it. I know that the city and the county kind of went back and forth on some of those kind of things, but I don't know specifically what's on the table to bring to that.
Because I know that's going to be a big one for people that I remember. And I do know that the county purchased the ground just outside of Schilling in Ohio.
Yes.
And they still own that. I think there's maybe 60 acres there.
Yeah.
And that's where they were going to put it at one point because they already have water and utilities. And I think, if I remember correctly, the county city didn't annex it, but provided water and sewer out to it so that it's ready to go. It hasn't been fully annexed yet.
Right.
And then I thought, wasn't there a trade between Oakdale Park and the other stuff? How did that all work?
Discussed.
Do you remember?
That was discussed.
Okay.
I do not know that ever really happened.
Okay.
I remember they were talking about Oakdale Park and the land and the area where it currently sits. I cannot, and I'll look that up.
Yeah.
But I need to know that because I don't know.
I think that's going to be, as a county citizen on there, like, I think that either needs to be revisited. I'm not for it. I don't know who I'm going to upset by saying this. And the reason I'm not for it is this reason. Back when they were doing the research, the people who built those facilities that were costing $30 and $40 million, what they found out was the horse people or the cattle shows or all of that, they wouldn't pay the fee.
Right.
that it took to support that level of. They loved
capability.
it.
They just didn't want
They
to.
loved
Right.
the facility.
Right.
But it was like, okay, if you want to come to Oklahoma City and use our facility, it's $11,000 a day.
Right.
And they're like going, well, gosh, we can go to Enid, and it's not just that, but it's only $4,000 a day.
Yeah.
And so my biggest concern was you build this big facility, and then can we...
The revenue doesn't come in.
The revenue doesn't come in.
Right.
Can we actually afford to do it? And then it becomes a drain on the taxpayer, because the bigger you build the buildings, the more maintenance it takes. And then 20 years down the road, you're putting on new roofs, and you're redoing all the pins, and you got all these maintenance people that are out there.
Yeah.
And so I would say that if that does come to fruition, again, it's like, do I think we need that? I think maybe something nicer and newer. I just don't know that we need what they were wanting to build. It's kind of like the Buy Center. Like the Bicentennial Center is great sometimes, but then sometimes it's a drain on the community, because to get an event that actually holds 7,500 people is pretty hard to do. Like if you built a nice 3,500 seat stadium, that would cover for what Saline is doing the majority of the time.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's true. I think that Tony Event Center, and they have a purpose, but they are large. And I do wonder if that isn't more of a drain to keep it up than what's doing, because we have beautiful facilities across the community to do a smaller venue. And the Stiefel's always full. Sam's Chapel at Kansas Wesleyan is going to be finished very, very soon, and there are people just clamoring to do performances there. It's such a high-level performance area now, and the Salina Theater and different things. So I do wonder about that. I know they refreshed it. That probably still needs some refreshing. I would love to visit with the department head and see. But on the same kind of topic, the health department needs suitable housing. And that's one of my points, is that we can't keep bringing people that need service and asking them to come to this place that is so
inadequate,
not beautiful, you know? And I don't mean it has to look like this, but if you're going to go and bring your kids in and your family in for medical services or care, you should be able to feel safe and good about it, and that it's confidential. And this building is so old and so worn out, and it was that way when I was there. So I really want, and I know that the commission has discussed this, so I'm anxious to see if I can get in, how we are moving along in that and what we can do. I also think there'd be non-taxpayer support dollars for a health department to some degree. I know Jason Tiller, the director, writes grants frequently for services, but I'm wondering if there isn't something out there. So I do want to bring that as, it wouldn't be a capital project. I'm not saying move the entire, but tell me what's going on as far as the building, and is there more space to add on to there?
Yeah. How does because I don't know much about this, does the county structure work almost like the city one, where there is a city manager, but he's not really making the decisions? They're fact finders. They bring everything to the city commission, and then the city commission makes the vote that moves the city forward.
Right.
Is Phil kind of the same thing of what Mike Scragg is for the city? So Phil is the guy who's the fact finder, brings everything together. But is it the commissioners who actually make the final vote? Would that be correct?
And one of the things I don't want to forget is that the department heads also have most of that information. They provide either Phil with that, or Phil works with them hand in hand, or many times they come and bring that information. One of the best things that happened to Saline County was the hiring of Phil Smith-Haynes. He is energized. He's progressive. He fights for staff and the ideas to stay that way. He's just one of the best refreshing things I have seen. And I will tell you, one of the things I said when I left is I was sad I didn't get to work longer with him, because he is that progressive and caring and wants to do well. And I think I can say that when he joined the county, he made it easier for the county commission. He brought the ideas and kept them in line just a little bit better than they probably ever have been able to. And not in line, that's probably not the best, but you know what I mean. Kept them aware. And so he brings all those things. And the county commission gets to make those decisions, but not without lots of work from Phil and the department heads that gather all that data.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's also different, I don't think city commission we work by district. So I've got a district.
Where would be the lines of your district? Like, do you know exactly where that is?
Well, I know pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's Santa Fe to east until the end of the county line.
Okay.
And then Magnolia, Highland Hamlet, part of that area, and some of those places south. And then over to, I'm going to get these streets wrong, but over towards,
You're talking about north of town?
yeah, I'm talking about north of town, and I'm trying to forget. I can't remember exactly where that ending is, but Ash and all those along that way are part of it. So it's an interesting thing. I have to constantly look at the map. People, I will say, I'm out of signs. We purchased 80, thinking we would have left over. I was going to plaster my bedroom wall with them.
Yeah.
And people have just reached out and wanted them. And so I always have to look in my map to make sure, because I'm new to political office and I'm new to this, and I have to see where that's going to fit. So, yeah. But the city, I don't believe, has any districts, and I don't think it's you have to declare a party. So I think that you're just elected by who you are, who thinks you do the best job, those kind of things.
Yeah. So you live in the district, and then you can run, and that's who you represent.
Right.
Which I think is interesting. When most people think of county, I think of the county. So I think of like you're representing the farmers and the ranchers of the world.
You are, but not.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I'm saying is like, we don't even think about that, you know.
Right.
But what's interesting is I don't get to vote on any city commissioners because I don't live within the city limits, but I do within the county. But then the people who live in the city who get to vote for city also get to vote for county. So I just wanted to make people aware that they are, even if you're in the city limits, the city is within the county.
Yeah, probably.
And the county has its own districts.
Right. Probably 95% of the population in the county is city persons too. And that's the thing that they have to remember is that, your knowledge needs to be both about your city and about your county, so you know what's going on. I mean, one of the things the county's working on right now is broadband.
Internet.
I was going to say
Fiber
Wi-Fi
optic or
whatever. Yeah. And because there are parts of the county that have no services or barely little services. So I went to one of those public meetings and I was just shocked. The numbers of people that, they said it's almost like using dial-up still back in the day, which I did use.
Yeah. Well, you're dating yourself now in age with the dial-up.
I'm an older lady.
Yeah.
But well enough and sharp enough to be a good county commissioner. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. Well, I'm very proud of you. I think this is going to be, I think you're a perfect fit for it from your personality. As much as I have known you, for as long as I've known your family, again, I think that you're going to fit right in. The experience that you've had, just being around that, being able to navigate your way through the county building and know where everything's at and who the people are and how to get things done. And most importantly is I think you're a good listener.
Yes.
And I think you're going to listen to the people. Like if I have a problem, I don't know if you'll listen to me, but I'm in your district. So
if you get on the treadmill by me, I might give you a few minutes.
I am. I'm not even going to come to the meeting. I'm just going to bend your ear while we're on the treadmill together and say, hey, this is what I think we need. Redo the bridge.
And I'll just go faster and faster listening to you. You know me.
You got your headphones on. You don't listen to me anyway. So anyway, Annie, any last words that you want to say for anybody who's watching this? Is there anything, you've got somebody running against you, so there is going to be a vote. The nice thing is it is another female. So one quality I heard from you today is that, hey, we just need more females in city government or county government. Yeah. And so either way, you're going to have a female.
Let's not just say either way. But let me say this. I will be happy to have another female there. It's enlightening to see that two of us are running. I think that the difference between my opponent and myself is my experience and, budget work and understanding all that process from being a director for 29 years and working directly with the commissioners and Phil Smith-Haynes and all the county administrators. And I think that I bring that knowledge and that experience, but I think also I bring excitement. And you're right. One of my points is that one of the best things about the county is the employees. They're dedicated, they volunteer, they make Saline County look good just because how dedicated and personable they are. And they do give back to their community and to their city. And so they're one of the best things about the county. And I think we need to make sure that they're getting the services they need and what they're doing. And I'd love to work with some of them that don't do grants and look at some service dollars that could come from non-taxpayer funds. They're all over. You just have to dig and find them and research it.
Yeah. Can people donate to your campaign? I mean, like to help buy you more signs? You bought 80 signs. Can we get you some more signs?
No, don't get me signs, because know that you can donate. I'm not asking for any donations. I'll be honest with you. I have not asked one penny, and donations have just come in.
Yeah.
So I've been very, very grateful for what I have.
I think your social media endorsements have been great.
Yeah,
Key
thank you.
pivoted people around there of why they're going to endorse you. I've really noticed those. Those have
Yes.
showed up on my news feeds, and so I think you're doing great things with that.
Yeah, and I think we've tried to. I'll give a shout out to my sister, Mary Hammond, who has ran the Facebook page, and she puts something up new and fresh every day. And so reaching out to community leaders and getting their feedback and those kind of things has been great. My daughter-in-law, Anni Grevas, has done a lot of that. We've got some flyers that we'll be handing out. We're going to go door to door in the next couple of weeks and be handing those out, and she designed all of those. So one of the reasons I haven't need much money is I do have a beautiful family, and they've been very gracious. But if you want to give, you just Anni Grevas Commission campaign, and you send it to my home address, and I'll give that to you, but don't drive by.
Yeah. We don't want to give out the home address on here. They'll look you up. Somebody will call you on the
you
phone.
can
We'll
look it
figure
up.
out how to get a hold of Annie.
Yeah,
That's
well,
there.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows where I live,
Yeah,
but okay.
When is the election?
The election is the primary, August 6th. And
So that's coming up.
Yes, it's very close. And that's why we're hitting so many things. And that's why this podcast comes at such a great time. And we're both running on Republican ticket, and there is not another candidate at this time. So it's my understanding that if nothing else pops up, it'll end with the primary. Whoever wins the primary will
win.
The name will still be on the general election ballot, but the primary will have dictated it. So August 6th. I also want to shout out Redfern Bookstore. We're doing a meet and greet August 1st, 5 to 7. We'll have beverages there and flyers, and I would love to talk to people. Those that know me, love to see ya.
Yeah.
Those that don't know me, I'd love to talk to you and give you the reasons I'm running. And if you're still kind of on the fence, come out, and we'll give you a beverage and go into that beautiful bookstore.
Yeah.
And
Harley's done a great job down
Harley and Guy have really done a good job. And I say Harley and Guy, but it's mostly Harley.
there. Yeah, Harley's got all the work. Yeah. Harley's got all the work.
He's a superstar.
Yeah. Annie, thank you for joining us today. I wish you the best of luck. And, you have our vote.
Yes, thank you.
For doing that from the Welsh family. We've known you guys for years.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned your husband, Bill. That means, I know it means a lot to you, means a lot to me from there. And such a great family. Yeah. And I think you'll do a great job in there. So best of luck to you. August the
6th.
August the 6th.
Get out and vote. Vote for Annie.
Great.
And most important, get out and vote.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
You bet.